The movie opens on Pandora, but not the peaceful, bioluminescent wonderland we met before. This time, the camera lingers on ash drifting through the trees and rivers tinted rusty orange, like someone forgot to clean up after a massive bonfire. It's striking and a little heartbreaking. You get the sense right away that the planet is wounded. We meet our central family in this scarred landscape. Lani, a fierce Na'vi warrior who remembers a life of plenty, and her younger brother Rob, who still marvels at the simple magic of the forest despite everything. They live with their clan near the smoldering foothills of a newly active volcanic range that locals now call the Fire Spines. From early on, the tension is clear. This isn't just nature being dramatic. Humans are back, but more cunning. A corporate military outfit led by the hard-edged Commander Voss, who believes Pandora's resources could save countless lives back home. That doesn't make what he does any better, of course, and Lani's plan sees him as the latest incarnation of a long history of invaders. Lani's personal arc starts simply. She's a protector and skeptic. When a reconnaissance team brings news of new human camps dug into the ash flats, she is the first to volunteer for a scouting mission. On that early excursion, we meet a human face who complicates everything. Dr. Elias Mercer, a scientist who seems slightly out of place in the military world, more pensive than ruthless. He and Lani interrogate each other across a chasm of culture, language, and loss, and there are sparks, though nothing romantic immediately, more curiosity and the kind of wary respect that foretells alliances. As the middle of the film unfolds, the story splits across three major fronts. One is the political and ecological. The RDA-esque corporation expands its operations, bulldozing sacred groves to reach Emberstone seams. We see harrowing set pieces of trees ripped apart and an ancient Na'vi hunting ground turned into an excavation pit. Those scenes are ugly in a very purposeful way. They make you want to stand up and shout at the screen. Lani organizes protests, traditional sabotage techniques, sneaking into camps at night to disable drills, and those guerrilla actions feel tangible and immediate. The second front is the human internal conflict, centered on Dr. Mercer. He's been assigned to measure Emberstone's potential. The more he studies it, the more he sees a connection between the glowing mineral and Pandora's life cycle. Emberstone is not just a fuel, it's part of the planet's way of breathing. Mercer's notes and late-night confessions reveal he's haunted by events from Earth. Lost colleagues, a daughter he barely knows. His moral compass shifts when he witnesses the impact of mining firsthand, and he becomes a reluctant conscience, whispering doubts in Voss's ear and trying to undermine the worst excesses without directly sabotaging his own standing. It's an interesting tension because Mercer's hesitation feels human. He's torn between duty, guilt, and a dawning understanding that survival for some can't come at the cost of another world's extinction. The third front is the personal, Lani's relationship with her clan and a new Na'vi ally, Sue, a former outcast who knows the mountain trails and the secret places where Emberstone veins breach the surface. Sue is the film's wild card, charismatic, a little reckless, and very good at getting into trouble. He provides comic relief, but also emotional ballast. He teases Lani, calls her out when she goes too far, and volunteers for missions she thinks are impossible. Their camaraderie gives the story warmth when it could otherwise be all doom and gloom. The script builds to a major turning point when the humans trigger a controlled blast to test the Emberstone's volatility. They expect a neat story, collect samples, retreat. Instead, the blast cracks an underground magma chamber, releasing a plume of heat and ash that wakes the fire spines in a much more literal sense. The volcanoes start coughing up fire and glassy ash, people die, machines get incinerated, and a massive ash cloud sweeps toward the Na'vi village. This is the film's "we blew it" moment. You see both human and Na'vi characters reeling in the aftermath, and it's here that Mercer flips more decisively. He sees the chain reaction he indirectly caused and decides to help Lani reverse it, or at least contain it. There's a tense sequence, equal parts heist and rescue, where Lani, Sue, and Mercer infiltrate the largest human camp to plant a device that could stabilize a lava flow long enough for nearby clans to evacuate. It's clever and risky. The team is mismatched in skills and temperament. Mercer has to lie and con his way through the human hierarchy, while Lani uses instincts and old knowledge of the land to navigate the volcanic terrain. Sue almost gets himself killed doing something stupid, but heroic, of course. And there's a beat of real grief when the team loses one of their older elders protecting the retreat. That loss is handled with quiet grace. No melodrama, just grief that lands and lingers. The middle to late act ramps up the stakes when the extremist faction within the human camp, led by a Commander Hargreaves type who thinks scorched earth is the only solution, stages a coup inside the operation. Voss was calculating and destructive, but not reckless. The extremists are apocalyptic, ready to purify Pandora to extract Emberstone faster. Suddenly, the protagonists are fighting 2 layers of human antagonism and a ticking geological clock. The film does something smart here. It refuses to paint all humans with one brush. Some are practical, others are greedy, and a handful, Mercer and a small coalition of engineers and medics, want to stop the madness. Lani's clan isn't a monolith either. There's friction about whether to retaliate with force or to protect the people and the children. Old traditions clash with new tactics, and that's where the film earns its emotional beats. An old chieftain who believes in sacred bonds reluctantly accepts that adaptation is necessary. And there's a moving scene where he blesses a makeshift barricade made from Emberstone shards, an object that symbolizes both destruction and potential renewal. It's one of those visually striking moments the movie does well. Ritual meets technology, and neither side looks foolish. They're seeking survival in different idioms. Romance never steals the plot, but it simmers in the background. Mercer and Lani develop a weird, hard-won trust. They don't fall in love in a cinematic swoon. They coalesce around shared responsibility and many awkward and honest conversations about what it means to belong to different worlds. Mercer tries to make up for Earth's sins by helping Lani protect Pandora. Lani is pragmatic and doesn't forgive quickly, but recognizes that he can be useful and maybe even sincere. The chemistry is understated and pleasant, like watching 2 people start to understand each other's jokes. The climax is chaotic in a satisfying blockbuster way. The extremists set off an enormous detonation intended to fracture the fire spines and expose all Emberstone seams at once. The resultant geological upheaval creates lava rivers and geysers of Emberstone shards that make the battlefield both gorgeous and deadly. Lani leads a desperate mission to disrupt the detonation sequence, while Mercer and a ragtag coalition try to evacuate non-combatants and the more vulnerable fauna. Sue has his big redemptive cameo. He sacrifices some of his own safety to hold a route open, and the camera lingers with him with the kind of affectionate brutality that makes you both teary and a bit proud of a fictional character. The film doesn't take the easy route to a tidy happy ending. They do manage to stop the worst of the detonation thanks to a risky maneuver that involves using Emberstone's resonance. Mercer notices a pattern in its energy signatures and rigs a counter-frequency to dampen the blast. It's clever and plausible within the film's rules, and it leads to a visual sequence where the planet seems to breathe. The ash settles and the fires subside into simmering, manageable warmth. The extremists are routed, though not all captured, which leaves space for ambiguity. The corporate engine is wounded but not dead, and the idea that greed will return hangs over the closing frames. The emotional payoff centers on community and choice. Lani's clan survives, but the cost is real. Homes lost, elders gone, landscapes altered. There's a quiet human moment as survivors rebuild, not like a montage set to triumphant music, but as a series of small, tactile acts. A child planting a seedling, elders telling stories to the youth, humans like Mercer helping to carry stones and heal wounds. The film ends with a shot that brings things full circle, a new sapling pushing through ash, glimmering with tiny Emberstone flecks. It's both hopeful and wary. Life, the film says, is stubborn, but not invincible. Stylistically, the movie leans into big, pretty visuals and slower, character-building beats. The action sequences have weight. You can feel the heat and grit. The best parts, though, are the quieter exchanges. Lani negotiating with her clan's elders, Mercer examining something beautiful and fragile and admitting he doesn't know how to fix everything. Small bits of humor keep things human. Sue's throwaway lines, a nervous new recruit who keeps dropping things, a Na'vi elder scolding a human in bilingual sarcasm. Little moments that remind you this is populated by folks, not archetypes. If you're going in expecting a simple, human bad, nature good diatribe, you'll be pleasantly surprised by the nuance. Yes, the film has a clear ecological message, but it also acknowledges the complexities of survival, guilt, and accountability. It makes room for characters who change their minds and for systems that are stubbornly resistant to change. And it leaves a few loose ends. Some villains escape, and Emberstone still exists, so you suspect this saga isn't over, which, frankly, is probably for the best. The film balances spectacle with genuine emotional grounding, and I'm curious to see what they do next with these characters. All told, Avatar: Fire and Ash is a sturdy, visually striking entry that marries spectacle with intimate stakes. It won't change your political views overnight, but it will make you care about the individuals caught in a planetary scale crisis. And if nothing else, it gives you some truly memorable set pieces and a couple of characters you'll cheer for when they make big, scary choices. Not a perfect film, but earnest, bold, and at times
really beautiful. Like watching a planet try to heal while the people on it figure out how not to screw it up again. Please subscribe